Hello folks, and welcome to the Colour Corrector tutorial part 3. In the last two tutorials we looked at setting up the workspace for colour correction, and we did some basic work on the tonal range of an image using the fast colour corrector and the waveform monitor as a reference guide for our work. In this tutorial we're going to look at two more options for your tonal range work, which are the Luma curves and the RGB curves. Before we get started though, let's just give ourselves a quick reminder of the exact work that we're doing. At the moment, we're doing colour correction work rather than colour grading work. Colour correction work is correcting an image that may not look the way that we want. In this case, the image is quite flat and doesn't have a very good tonal range. A poor tonal range is when the blacks and whites are dulled and the greys dominate. Colour grading, on the other hand, is when you add colour and tone to an image in order to stylize the image and change its overall meaning. We're going to stick with the image that we've been using in the last tutorial, and our aim is to improve the tonal range by enhancing the blacks and the whites. The last tutorial showed you the input and output sliders in the fast colour corrector. And the two that we're going to use in this tutorial, the Luma curves and the RGB curves, will achieve the same effect. Ultimately, you should use the effect that feels the most user-friendly and intuitive to you. Let's start with the Luma curve effect, which is designed to adjust the brightness and luma of the image. You access it by going to Effects, Video Effects, Colour Correction and Luma Curves. Simply drag it onto the clip like so, and then go back to the main effects window in order to access its settings. Now this line here works in very much the same way as the input and output sliders we used in the fast colour corrector. The bottom portion of the line represents the blacks and shadows of an image. The top part of the line represents the whites and highlights of an image. If I slide this part of the line to the right, you'll see on the image and waveform monitor that the blacks are increased in the image. If I slide this part of the line down, you'll see that the whites are decreased in the image. The image has now got an improved tonal range, as the blacks have been boosted and the whites dialed down a little. If you want the opposite effect, you simply drag the line in the opposite direction. The midtones or greys of the image are in the middle of the line. You can set a point here and drag either way to adjust the overall contrast of an image. If you want to get rid of any points you've set, simply drag them off like so. The RGB curves work in the same way as the Luma curves, but have the addition of extra curves for colour if you want to colour grade the image. RGB curves are accessed in Effects under Colour Correction. As before, drag the effect onto the clip and then make your way back to the Effects Control panel to see the RGB curves settings. It has a master line here that you can use to adjust the luma and brightness of the image, like so. It works in the same way as the Luma curve. But as I said earlier, there are added adjustment tools for red, green and blue colour adjustments, and we'll come to those in a later tutorial. To summarise the last three tutorials then, when it comes to adjusting the tonal range of an image, its blacks and whites, I'd go for the input and output sliders in the fast colour corrector, the Luma curve found in Luma curves, or the RGB master curve found in RGB curves. Okay, that's all for this tutorial, folks. In the next one, we'll move on to some further colour adjustments. See you then.